I blame the temporal Cold War.
Oh, sons of
motherfucker.
bitches.
I blame whatever the fuck was going on in that weird room.
That was the
decon room is horrible.
Oh,
that
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I hated that also.
Oh, my God.
Well, we'll get to it.
Tell us about it, Chris.
Tell us about it.
Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By. After a few weeks off and some delightful tales last week, which we all loved and enjoyed.
We did.
Mine was terrible.
Mine was way too long, and I'm not sorry.
Jake, I hope your voice has recovered.
Yeah, the screaming. Yeah.
But you gave a really good performance.
Thank you.
But finally, the series we've all been waiting for.
Yes,
How long have we been waiting, Chris?
for quite some time. Yep, we're here, we're back to our normal thing. This is episode 313.
17.
You said 13 earlier.
I did not.
You did.
You definitely said
You
313.
did say 13.
Don't trust my mouth. Trust the spreadsheet.
Uh-oh.
The spreadsheet is the thing that's correct.
Oh,
We can't
no.
see the spreadsheet.
Oh, I have to rename this file later.
Oh, no.
Episode 317.
Yes, that's the correct one.
13!
No.
Yes, we are here. It is Enterprise Broken Bow.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. So, here we go. It is a new era in Star Trek where we've gone backwards because that's what everyone was doing after the Phantom Menace. It's the, late 22nd century-ish? Mid? What year is it? 2150 something, I think?
They said it was 90 years since Zephram Cochrane.
So yeah, the 2150s.
Sure.
Uh,
Sounds right.
And
Possibly I wrote it down. We'll see.
Earth is ready, raring to go. Starfleet's newish.
We hate the Vulcans already.
We hate the Vulcans so much, and the Vulcans hate us.
Well, they're pompous twats.
I can kind of understand why everyone hates each other, because everyone's jerks in different ways.
Yeah.
And
Not Porthos, though.
Oh, yeah, no, Porthos
is
is-
the best.
he's a hero.
Porthos is a perfect boy.
Yeah, he's the best. But, you know, Earth, they've developed their Warp 5 engine, very exciting. They've slapped it into the Enterprise NX-1.
Gorgeous.
And they're looking for an excuse to get out there, and one lands in the middle of fucking nowhere, Broken Bow. Did they ever say what state it was?
Oh, I think they
Isn't
did,
it
didn't they? Wasn't it like
Indiana?
Kentucky or
Maybe.
something?
It's
No,
somewhere with
it was like
fucking corn.
Midwest, very Midwesty.
Yep.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. A
Oklahoma.
Klingon clashes. Whoops.
With a Klingon
Let me try that again.
clashes with...
A Klingon crashes in Oklahoma.
Clangs.
Clang. Yes. Clang clangs. Wow.
Isn't going well.
Clangs into Oklahoma, chased by the Floam-looking Suliban, and is shot by an ornery farmer, because some things never fucking change. And the Vulcans are like, the Klingons have asked us to deal with this, so take him off life support and we'll send the corpse. And Archer, captain of the Enterprise, is like, what?
What am I actually doing here?
Yes, he was dragged there.
Who invited me?
Admiral Forrest, who wanted him to get mad, basically.
Son of a bitch.
So
He looks great, though.
pulls together his crew, and he's like, we're bringing this Klingon home. This won't have ramifications for centuries to come. They are attacked by the Flomi Suliban, who kidnap Klang, and Archer's like, fuck. And they track him, well, in working on tracking him down, they go to Rigel, and Traitor Suliban is like, our people have sold out to people from the future for the temporal Cold War. And Archer goes, that sounds like a really dumb premise that this show will hopefully drop sooner than later. And they then...
Spoilers, they won't?
Eventually they will.
it
takes them a while.
They eventually, sooner than you'd think, they do realize it's a bad idea. And they find the Suliban hive ship.
Mularam Suliban.
Yeah. And they rescue Klang, and there's a shootout in a spooky room, and they get to Kronos, and Starfleet's like, well, you're already out there, so fuck it, keep going. And Archer's like, I guess we sort of tolerate each other now, T'Pol. You want to stick around? And she goes,
You got
fine.
You got them titties, you
He's
know.
like, she's like, well, I did see Trip's ding dong.
I guess I'll just have Phlox sew my nostrils shut.
There is a dog on deck.
There is.
Well, I think
Shit's
I don't know
It's not a very nice
what
way to
is
talk
more
about
offensive
T'Pol.
to T'Pol's senses. Is the dog or the humans? Who stinks more?
Probably the humans.
Trip, definitely.
Yeah, Trip
He's
does.
Floridian.
Trip looks
Well,
like
you know
an
what-
odorous man.
You know what it is? Dogs don't really get like body odor because they don't sweat.
But they do
It's
smell
so-
like
There are
dogs
definitely stinky
smell
dogs.
awful. Dogs
Not
smell.
all dogs.
A lot of dogs smell really bad.
I don't know if I agree with
I
that.
have a friend who has a French bulldog.
French bulldog.
French bulldog. He's the cutest dog, the best.
Well, yeah,
very
is he
sweet
really
dog.
wrinkly though? Because you got to clean their wrinkles, or they get all
It's not
kind of
even the wrinkles.
shit.
It's just his skin. He just reeks. He's got a.
Well, yeah, but he probably has allergies.
Well, he stinks.
Well, that's fine, but I'm just saying, if he stinks, it's probably like allergies or a yeast infection or something. Frenchies get yeast infections a lot because of all the wrinkles in their skin.
Mm.
I think that's what they said is wrong with this dog.
Well-
Dogs do generally kind of... They have a smell, and they also don't brush their teeth, so at the very least their breath does tend to stink.
Yeah, and they only eat shit, dog kibble, which doesn't smell good either.
Have you
Yeah.
tried it though?
No,
Anyway,
fuck that.
Enterprise, for the
Enterprise.
love of God.
So this is the pilot of Enterprise, not yet Star Trek Enterprise, because they wanted to attract a wider viewership, and wow, did it piss off fans. So that's why later we'll see it as Star Trek Enterprise.
But, see, like, who did they think they were gonna fool by just not putting the word Star Trek there? Everything else about it is
yeah,
very Star Trek.
it's
You
got
open on a Klingon!
Klingons in the TNG DS9 makeup at that, which also pissed off other fans.
Morons.
Yeah, and I mean, there's more. I mean, we got to just talk about the elephant in the room.
Faith of the Heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're gonna get past it because here's the thing. I don't
wait.
want it to be a weekly joke.
No.
I'll be very tempted, but I can resist. So let's just get it all out now. It's terrible.
So-
it's not a good song.
Oh, it's really bad.
Here's what's great. Like, a week ago, as of our recording, so even earlier, further away by the time this goes up, Slash Film posted an article about Where My Heart Will Take Me, with quotes directly from Brannon Braga, which I would like to read right now.
Oh, good.
Rick and I felt that a song would set the slightly more contemporary feeling we were going after with Enterprise. For the longest time, we had a temporary song we cut from the main titles to U2's Beautiful Day. If we had used that, or could have afforded it, that would have been a great song. Those main titles with U2 are amazing. It's hip and cool. Whereas the song we ended up with is awful. I'm a big fan of Diane Warren. She's a great songwriter, but this particular song, and the way it was sung, was tacky. I still cringe when I hear it, and by the way, I think that song has a lot to do with people's adverse reaction to the show. If you look at the main titles themselves, it's a really cool sequence, but the song is awful.
Yeah.
Just awful.
Well, yeah. So that's the thing. The titles are really cool. I really like the titles.
We discussed them previously on one of our blog posts.
We did.
Check it out on Tumblr.
And here's the thing. Okay, a couple things.
Good.
So
I'm glad we're
they
here,
have
Slim Jims.
there is an Enterprise theme song.
There is.
That we hear. It's used throughout the episode. It's used as like, they bring it in for certain themes. And it wasn't in this episode, I realized, but in future episodes, there's an end title sequence that has the song. And if they had just used that song for the intro, it would have been fine.
Yep.
Are there variants that you can find online that swap out the
I'm sure.
theme song
Probably.
with something
Sure there
sensible?
are.
I've definitely even seen versions where they put in that U2 song he mentioned, so...
Was it
Yeah.
better than this one?
No.
Anything is better than this
No one.
song.
The
U2 one is still corny.
if the question is the U2 thing better? The answer is always no. No matter what the rest of the question was.
No, U2's alright.
U2 is better than some...
Is U2
song that was
better than
originally-
Hut Pokers to the Nuts.
A song that I believe was originally written for Patch Adams, by the
Right,
way.
yeah.
Well, I don't have any nuts, so I can't really give you like.
Well, let me tell you
assessment.
the answer.
No.
Sometimes.
It's a bad song, and it's only going to get worse when they try
when
to
they punch it
DS9 it in
Oh,
season
boy.
3.
Oh yeah. So here's the other thing that pissed me off about this song is I made a fool of myself as a result of this song. So
What?
this was the first show that premiered when I was older. I was in high school, a little more discerning.
Mm.
It's also the first show that premiered when the internet was a big thing. Like the internet it was around, obviously.
Yeah.
Because
but-
here we are in September of 2001.
Yeah, but the last show to premiere would have been Voyager, and that would have been
95.
95, and the internet was around, but not many people were doing it.
Yeah.
And it was more mainstream. So they had a promo for this show before it even aired. And the song that they used in the promo was The Calling, Wherever You Will Go.
Oh, yeah.
If I could, then I would.
Yeah.
Oh, that song, yeah.
Wherever you will go.
Way up high, down
So
low.
they used this song in the promo, and that was on Usenet, which was the old,
coolest place
the
to be.
old internet discussion forum where I used to get into flame wars with people on various things.
Good, very mature of you.
When the promo for Enterprise came out and they played the Calling song, and people were all bent out of shape. Whoa, why are they using a rock and roll song for my Star Trek? And I get on there and I say, guys, it's a television promo for UPN. They're trying to get people excited, non-fans interested in the show. They want it to look cool and contemporary, so they're using a popular song in their fucking promo. I am sure that when the show airs, the intro song will be a classic Star Trek orchestral theme.
Oh, I bet you felt silly.
And I felt like an idiot for 25 years, or however long it's been.
Well, let's talk about the other elephant in the room.
What the fuck? Why would you say that when I'm sitting right here?
Well, I was gonna say Trip's cock, but
Hey.
I don't think just the song is the part of the adverse reaction. I mean, I have a soft spot for this show.
Mm-hmm.
This show is why this show exists in a big
You're like,
way.
I have to force other people to watch Enterprise, but I can't just start with Enterprise. Let's wait 7 years.
Kind of. Well, no, because it was like I saw Beyond, and they referenced Enterprise a couple times. I'm like, I never did give Enterprise a second chance. So I start watching it, and I'm like, when was the last time I watched Star Trek? I should do a show where I watch all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there are episodes I think that are pretty fun and decent, and the characters get interesting in various ways, but boy, there is some terrible shit, like the decon room.
Yeah, and the so much nipple on T'Pol.
Well, that's not her fault.
And just-
No,
that's just
They
nipple.
could
it's
give
not.
her
I'm
a
not saying that's
bra.
her fault. I'm saying they could have dressed her in
Yes.
a way that wasn't objectifying so hard.
Yeah.
And
Granted, we do get some Archer bulge, which was
Well, yeah, you get fucking literally. I'm not even kidding. You do see Trip at like half staff.
God damn it.
Yeah, the
I kind of retroactively sort of get why the women were so swoony there.
The women.
Yeah, the gratuitousness.
Oh my god, it's
of
embarrassing.
The nudity
Who was
and
it
the
that promised
decon room.
we're not going to do more women in cat suits? Was it Berman?
Berman! I remember
Fucking
reading
failure.
that fucking interview when I was a teenager.
Wow.
Because I was so pissed when she showed up in a cat suit. It was like, you fucking asshole.
Yeah,
And even to this day, I'm fucking 39, and just watching the scene is just... Again, I feel secondhand embarrassment for Rick Berman for thinking this was a good idea. And yeah, but even when I was a teenager, in theory, the target audience for that scene, I was like, this is pathetic and lame and makes me hate that I enjoy Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is who they think I am. They think I'm going to enjoy this.
Like, I harken back to, I remember in Juggernaut, in Voyager, where...
Juggernaut.
Thanks, Jake.
Jugs.
Torres goes onto that Malon ship and comes back, like, just covered in filth.
Yeah.
And almost died many times, and all this thing. And she goes into her sonic shower. And I remember saying on this show, go back and listen to that episode. It was a pretty good episode.
Yeah.
How she is just cleaning.
Yeah.
And it is not for us to, like, ogle at. It's just... She's dirty, so she's cleaning.
And
She's dirty, all right.
And like, obviously, yeah, we can't not acknowledge that sexiness has always been sort of there. I mean, Jesus Christ, the women were barely wearing anything in most of TOS.
Mm-hmm.
There's
the Muds women with their constant, like, just, not lens flare, but what am I looking for?
Soft focus.
Soft focus, there it is.
And
the opposite of lens flare.
the infamous fucking gymnastics yoga scene in TNG.
The stretch position.
Yeah, scene. You know,
Wow.
there's always
the underboob in fucking
My
Quark's
boobs are
bar.
so firm.
Yeah, like it's always been there, but this takes it to a whole new level of just in your face and childish and blatant.
I mean, well, here's the thing. They learned the wrong lessons
Yes.
from the success of Seven of Nine.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, teenage boys want titties. And it's, to be fair, yes, we do. But also we like, not being patronized and
I mean,
condescended.
I compartmentalize these things, for lack of a better term. Like, I'm one of those people, like, I don't need everything to be arousing.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm still going to wank, but it's going to be an angry wank. It's going to be a tisk-tisk fap.
Woof.
I mean, to their credit, this one at least did have some, male exploitation as well. So they're trying.
Yeah.
Again, wrong lesson. It's not so much that we wanted everyone exploited. We wanted no one to be exploited. And I think at the end of the day, in the grand tally of things, it will mostly be female exploitation.
Yeah.
That's shocking to me.
They do, again, kind of like the Temporal Cold War, they do kind of cool off on this eventually. It does come back for a bit. Ugh. And I think the idea even is so sound.
Oh yeah, just wait for Carbon Creek.
Yeah. But the idea I like is like, it's early days. They don't have the transporter fucking instant clean buffer. They don't have fields that can remove. So yeah, they need to have this extra step,
They
which
gotta
makes
have something better than you have to rub each
yeah,
other with
no,
goo.
that's what I mean. Like, as a concept, having okay, to show that this is early, we can't.
like aerosol.
Yeah,
has been
there's-
in existence.
There's so many ways you could have done it that weren't exploitative.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of having to go through a decon chamber of some kind is cool. Because, again, it's yeah, this is a nice sign that this is really early. Even Kirk didn't have to do this. But the execution is so stupid.
How the scene? Okay, the scene would have been way better if it was they walk into a room and it's not like a sexy massage you with goo. It's they can still be mostly naked, but if they just stand there in a dehumanizing way and just get blasted with some kind of steam or something, it looks uncomfortable and oh god, and I'm covered in this shit.
What if we put them in all white underclothes and then just spray them with a hose?
That's the one.
Yeah,
I think that would be
a delousing experience.
That would be hot, but also uncomfortable because it would be freezing cold.
There was also the very unpleasant sexy alien butterfly eating show.
Oh yeah, that
that
was
was
weird.
things.
Not the doctor. What the fuck is he? An engineer? He
No,
was
the
so into
security
it.
chief.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, Reed. Yeah.
Malcolm there was clearly kind of he's like, I've got a weird boner, but I've got a boner. I appreciate that Mayweather was just like, this is strange and I want to leave.
Yes.
I mean, what is supposed to be so sexy about this?
Their tongues. They can do things with those tongues.
Yeah, but I don't want to put any part of my body near anyone that's been eating bugs.
Like I would appreciate if the aliens are sure, they're because they're yeah, they're aliens. But none of all of the humans, both of them rather, should have just been
Ugh.
gotta go.
It's maybe it's a thing where they're ooh, sexy ladies, and then they do the tongue thing and oh, Jesus, fuck!
That might have worked if they played it as sort of a gag.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing. They just missed so hard at so many points in this episode.
Yeah, I feel so bad for those two women too. So they were twins, the Klimaszewski twins, Elaine and Diane. And Memory Alpha tells me that Diane, because of all this fucking makeup and the contraption she's wearing and all the stuff that she's doing, she vomited and passed out.
Jesus Christmas!
Yeah, that sounds
awful.
That would have
So
been more
something went
sexy than
wrong
what
there.
they showed.
Joke's on you. I'm into that shit.
Oh god, and of course, oh man, they so want Archer to be new Kirk.
He's so not.
He's not. They got him fucking dual wielding pistols at one point, and
I don't want to disparage Scott Bakula because I like Scott Bakula. I like Scott Bakula. I like Quantum Leap.
He's great in that episode of It's Always Sunny.
He's good in that episode. He's not a bad guy or a bad actor.
No.
He's just, in my opinion, a terrible casting choice for a Starfleet captain that,
God.
especially
And he was their first and only choice.
Here's the thing. I would somewhat disagree. He's a bad choice for the character they wrote.
fair.
And again, just looking ahead a little, they do eventually realize he's not new Jim Kirk and stop writing him that way, and he gets much better.
But the thing is, they don't write to his strength as an actor, which is like, fucking TV dad.
No, see, I've always said, once they realize he's spaceship dad and they start writing to that, because I think they do eventually.
Maybe.
We'll see if I'm correct as we watch this, but that's how I remember it going when I watched it years ago. But they do kind of spend a while trying to make him new Kirk, and it's just, well, specifically Drift Kirk.
Yeah.
Oh no, is he gonna bang all the women?
They kind of try that at first, then they decide to have Trip bang everyone, I
The
think.
thing is,
Because I was also uncomfortable. So we meet this Suliban chick, whose name is somewhere on this card, Saren or Sarin, the chick, the girl shaped one,
Yeah.
who's humanoid shaped for a little while until she kisses Archer for reasons.
To, like,
And
make
you're
sure
like,
he was telling the
"Ooh,
truth?
Kissinesses make us understand each other, and then she turns back into her foam self. And I'm like,
That was stupid.
Did we need this?
We did not, but I will admit, I did enjoy Bakula's, well, that's never happened before.
That's because he wet himself.
Yeah, he's talking about the spontaneous ejaculation.
I just thought his delivery was fun.
That happens to him all the time.
This hasn't happened
Today.
since 8th grade.
Okay, so I want to change course just a little.
What?
Because I feel like we've been doing a lot of like, oh my god, what the fuck. So,
There's more, don't worry.
oh, there will be more, I know.
Wait, let me just get one in real quick.
Do it.
Sure.
Get it.
Archer is a lot like Kirk in that this fucking episode put me to sleep.
Yeah. For a pilot, I had trouble following who the fuck everybody
Yeah, dude,
was.
what is
is-
happening?
Like I have the benefit of knowing at least the crew from having seen episodes, from playing Star Trek Timelines. Join me on Timelines. And just having a general knowledge of the characters. But then it's like, okay, so we've got Klingons, we've got Sulabans, we've got this temporal thing. I have no idea what the Sulabans' motivation is, and it's confusing. I don't know why Archer is here. Like, he's here because he has a ship, and that's it?
He's a nepo-baby, as Caitlin pointed out when we were watching.
Yeah.
But
because Dad was a warp engine guy.
the thing is, yeah, I agree. Like, I forgot rewatching this. It's like, wow, this is simultaneously way too busy and slow as fuck.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's somehow both, which is astounding. But we'll shit on it more in a bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about there are some
We love
positives.
the uniforms.
I love the uniforms.
Although, you know what I'm super, super sad about? Because I remember I said that these uniforms are among my favorites in all of Star Trek uniforms because they're so appropriate for this show.
Yeah.
They have lots of pockets.
So many.
However, the pockets in real life are unusable because the uniforms themselves are too tight to be able to put anything in them. Son of a bitch!
Well,
Son of a bitch!
here's the thing.
I feel like Jake making his prediction about the song.
Well, here's the thing, though. At least with this, though, it's like so many things. We know the tricorders don't really work. We know the teletransporter doesn't really work. In your heart, in universe, those pockets work.
They damn well better.
They don't work in the real world, but they work in universe.
All right. What was the thing you actually wanted to bring up?
That was one of them.
Oh, good.
I was going to talk about the
Yay.
looks of the show. Yeah, I love
do
the
looks.
uniforms.
We love the ship.
Aesthetically, it's cool.
They have a nice, it does. It feels like a nice bridge between, sort of NASA and Air Force shit. It's just very, very...
It's submarine-y.
Submarine-y, jump, and again, like military jumpsuits, but they've also reverted to TOS style, command gold again instead of command red.
Yeah, and the displays, the bridge, there's a lot of physical controls on the bridge. There's
monitors,
keyboards,
just straight up monitors.
There's monitors glued to the wall. So yeah, I mean it's I think at the time the show came out, Jesus fuck.
Someone on this show came down.
I pulled an Archer. That's never happened before. When this show first came out, I remember it got a lot of criticism from certain fans being like, why does it look more sophisticated than TOS when it's supposed to be before TOS?
Did you want it to look like it's in the 20s?
Yeah,
in the 1800s?
Seriously.
It's come on.
What do you want?
But
People are really dumb.
I think it works. Obviously it's not going to look more low tech than that because that set was made of cardboard and string. But if you take it as a prequel to the TOS movies, I think it works really well. It looks, kind of older than those, because then everything's kind of like smooth and polished. It looks kind of comfortable. Like, Enterprise doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah, it
Everything's
looks like you're living in a submarine.
Yeah, the round sort of portholes and everywhere, and the thing, like Porthos as well. the portholes and even the hallways, although they are rectangular still, they have like circular doorways. They went really all out to go for this like submarine navy look.
Yeah,
and it does. It just looks less comfortable.
Yeah, even like the captain's office. I don't know if that was his quarters or his office that he was hanging out.
Yeah, he has like a tiny ready room, and then he has a separate quarters as well.
But yeah, I mean, it's much like smaller than the spaciousness of like the crew quarters and such on even the Voyager.
Yeah,
which is supposed to be a small ship.
Yeah, and I do know. I think like I may have even mentioned this on air before once, but there was an issue where I think the model had round windows.
Oh no!
And the set at first didn't, because apparently they didn't communicate that clearly enough, so they had to redesign some sets to have round windows. Because they'd always had square windows before then.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the ship itself because I'm a sucker for a saucer only ship.
So I got some Easter eggs.
Yay!
Did you notice in Archer's office there is a bronze statue of Zephram Cochrane, or what I assume is Zephram Cochrane, standing with like a fresh arm.
Oh, I didn't actually.
It is the same. And the reason I know it's Zephram Cochrane is because it's the statue that Geordi describes to Zephram Cochrane in First Contact.
That's pretty
that's
great.
Fun. I like
so he's got a model of that statue in his office.
Good.
Another thing, now this irritates me a little bit.
Oh no!
Or it doesn't irritate me. It raises interesting questions.
Okay.
So in both the intro, which I guess the intro isn't technically canon or whatever, but also on Archer's wall, there is depictions of the Space Shuttle Orbiter Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are in the know, as I am, you would know that the Space Shuttle Orbiter Enterprise, it was never in use. It was a prototype that they used to test like the landing and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it never went to space. But when it was being built, they didn't have a name for it. Maybe they did have a name for it. And Star Trek fans did a writing campaign to NASA to petition NASA to call their space shuttle prototype the Enterprise. Mm. So and they had a dedication. The cast went to this dedication in the 70s, and there's photographs of this. Mm-hmm.
Shatner wasn't there, I remember.
Of course not. Jerk.
Yeah, I was reading about this recently, and interestingly, after the Challenger disaster, they needed a replacement shuttle for the Challenger, and for a while they were considering, adding in the missing stuff from the Enterprise, the stuff that wasn't there on Enterprise, and just making the Enterprise a functional orbiter. But then they figured, well, we have enough spare parts to basically just build a whole new one, and that's where we get Endeavor instead. But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is the fact that there is a Space Shuttle Enterprise in Archer's office on the wall, to me, suggests that Star Trek exists in Star Trek.
There is also just a history of real enterprises that predate it, as the opening credits point out.
Yeah, but those might have been real ships.
Yeah, they were. That's what I mean.
But the point is, there wouldn't have been a Space Shuttle Enterprise without Star Trek.
If not for Star
Trek. Yeah,
so what was in the Star Trek universe? Where did they get? Where was the writing campaign?
Simultaneous generation.
So I was going to say
parallel development.
So not that the novels are canon, but there was a novel that addressed this.
Oh God!
And it was just named after the aircraft carrier.
Which is weird because all the other space shuttles are named after like
astronomers and shit.
Ships of exploration.
Was the HMS Enterprise with a Z from the opening credits an exploration ship?
I don't know. Maybe.
Let's go with that.
Sure. That's why Endeavour is spelled the British way, because it's actually named after a British ship of exploration.
Boy, governor.
Was it named after the airship from Final Fantasy?
I hope so. Anyway,
so here's a factoid. Their original plan, when they said, okay, this is going to be a prequel, it's going to be the first episode's going to be like the first Warp 5 or whatever capable ship doing the thing, and they wanted basically all of season 1 to be Earthbound, and the culmination would be creating the first Warp 5 ship.
That's not Star Trek.
And yeah, that was what they
Boring.
said. It was like, this isn't... The Star Trek is about the space, you know.
That's like Star sit around and twiddle your thumbs and play with your dick.
I
It's not
also-
Star Trek at all.
Like, wow, no.
Mall Trek.
I would not be able to... No, Rick Berman's Star Trek could not pull that off.
If it were 10 years later, I feel like they would have done that idea as a series of webisodes.
Yes, they would have.
They would. Yeah. Webisodes were huge at that time.
Big time.
Like, the idea on paper is fascinating,
Mm-hmm.
but again, I do not trust Berman Trek to pull it off well.
Yeah, and I think it would be like the Klingons came to them, and you know, you'd still have this Clang thing.
A clang thing.
But it wouldn't be we have to bring Clang home. It would be, Clang's here. Here's Clang.
Now, I will say, it's still a better idea than Temporal Cold War.
Yeah.
Which I swear they only did so that if anyone complained about, like, continuity inconsistencies, they could go, Temporal Cold War!
Yeah, I don't know. I feel
A
like
wizard did it.
I would have been
Yeah.
so much more interested in just what the premise suggests.
Yeah.
That we're just going out and we, you know,
You don't need this fucking twist.
yeah, we're meeting the species that we eventually see in future shows, you know. Maybe we run into the Cardis, you know, I don't know. Maybe we have a bad first contact with the Ferengis.
The
I don't know.
Nausicaans, definitely.
Well, their first contact with these, whatever they're called, didn't seem to go so great.
Suliban.
Yeah, but again,
Suliban
we've
is a
never
weird
seen
name,
these
too.
assholes before.
Right.
And it's a prequel.
No, I have in a little jar
Nah.
marked Nickelodeon Floam.
Yeah. I mean, no, there has to be. You can't just see nothing but the
No.
familiar shit.
No,
though.
that's true.
But this didn't need to be the extra layer.
Yeah, but being a prequel, if you're gonna do a prequel, fucking embrace being a prequel. Don't sidestep yourself by being like, oh, it's actually in the future because the fucking
Now, there are times they embrace being a prequel and you just go, Jesus fucking Christ, guys.
I-
Like in this episode.
Oh,
Why?
Chris is getting wound up.
Why, if you already have them on board, do you wait to give out the phase pistols?
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
so you could have the phaser reveal.
I have a whole thing about the weapons.
Oh, they
Ugh.
look like fucking toys. These
They
are the most
do.
Yeah,
toyetic
they
looking
look
ones I've
stupid.
seen.
They should have looked fucking like retro sci-fi.
No, those were definitely designed to sell toys, not to look good.
Or they're
Um,
just a toy that they found at the dollar store that they painted over.
They might
No,
have.
here's a couple thoughts I had about the weapons. Not even just the phasers, the phase pistols.
Give it to us.
Okay, right out the gate. Why does the farmer have a space shotgun?
Yeah.
Would they really have a space shotgun, or would they just have a fucking shotgun?
The stupidest part was how to activate it, you slap the bottom like you've put in a
Yeah.
fucking clip.
Like, come
No,
on.
that wasn't to activate it. That was just because he likes to slap it around.
That's not even how you load shotguns.
No,
No,
you
but-
slide them in and...
Yeah, that's the
I
classic.
think some might have a little thing cartridge
Yeah,
you can pop
I'm
in.
sure
I
they
don't
do,
know.
but not the kind that Farmer John has.
Yeah,
and
no,
shooting
no.
Klingons with.
But it also looks so cheap.
It looks
Like,
stupid.
it looks
made
like
a
two
stupid
pipes. Yep. And then it exploded, that fucking thing. I was like, what the fuck was in his corn? But apparently it was methane.
Yeah, my methane silo. No.
now it smells like farts!
Yeah, what happened was it wasn't originally filled with methane. Clang went in there and wanted to rip.
He was having terror farts because of the Suliban chasing
Is this
him.
a Klingon fart?
Delete that, yeah.
But anyway, so that irritated me. Another thing that I like, if they were going to introduce the phasers in the way that they did, which I agree was stupid,
Very.
why did they already have some other type of ray gun?
That's what I mean.
Like why? Like they had a ray gun because they had the rooftop fight
Yep.
at
With the
Shittown
dual wielding.
With the dual wielding.
Started blasting.
What they should have done is it should have been like before we went on that away mission, fuckface.
Reed.
Archer.
Reed was
Reed.
like, sir, should I take out the phase pistol? He's like, no, we need to make sure, I don't trust those things. If we run into something hairy down there, I want something that I know is gonna work. And then he takes out a fucking 9mm pistol, and that's what. No, I'm not joking either. I'm thinking that the phasers are like new tech. We didn't have ray guns up until now. We've had just regular guns. So when they get into the firefight, they're just shooting guns.
You can't sell those as toys, though.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
But then you introduce the phase pistol later.
and then like maybe there's like a moment where they run out of ammo.
Yeah,
and they're like, fuck, we gotta go.
And Reed looks smug later.
Yeah, and then when they go on the second away mission, Reed's like, Captain, I must insist, for your own safety, you take this, governor. And they slaps that. Oh, sorry, White Cat.
The reason I was kind of smirking when you first introduced that, though, is because it's actually somewhat similar to, like, in Dr. No, they have to force Bond to accept a new pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made me think of that, because he's quite fond of his Beretta. But they're like, no, this is a better gun. Which was inspired because, I guess, an actual, like, arms expert wrote to Ian Fleming, being like, the Beretta sucks, he should carry this.
Mm.
But yeah, that actually would have been kind of great if, like, they just had pistols, ran out of ammo, and, like, maybe he has a point about the ray guns.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't have to be, like, a straight-up...
You can put a light on it, so it's future.
It can be a future-style gun, but it should just be a regular gun.
But yeah, again, like, why do you have everyone outfitted with one type of laser just to give them a different laser later?
Yeah.
You would have just given them the new one from the off.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
This one's got a massage setting, you see.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about the crew.
Do you want to talk about the crew?
Let's talk about the crew.
Cool.
We've already talked a little bit about Johnny Archer, who is just so he is perhaps the most American of our captains yet.
Here's the quote. Berman envisioned Archer as a cross between Chuck Yeager and Han Solo.
Well, Chuck Yeager.
Stop trying to be Star Wars. He was the first, one of the very early test pilot.
Didn't he break the sound barrier?
I believe
I
so.
think that's right. While Brennan Braga said that he envisioned him as more laid back and relatable. Also, his original first name was Jackson, and then Jeffrey, and then Jonathan.
It is funny when the Suliban is trying to taunt him by calling him John, and you're just like, John!
Yeah.
No.
Oh, boy.
Johnny Bye.
There's also a great story about Trip, because his original nickname wasn't going to be Trip. This is Charles Tucker III. So originally they just called him Charlie. And apparently at some point they were calling him Spike. And I guess after some party where Connor Trenier, who seems like a delight, got shit-faced and took a whole bunch of booze home and gets a call the next day. He's like, oh no, I'm fired for stealing all that booze, son of a bitch. And they call him not to whine about the booze, but to say, hey Connor, we're going to change your name from Spike to Trip. Is that okay? And he's like, yes.
But also, like, wasn't Buffy already on the air at this point?
I don't know, I've never seen Buffy.
Yeah.
Because
like
they'd already kind of laid claim to the name Spike.
Yeah.
Like, I know technically you can't trademark that shit, but the show, I'm pretty sure, was probably even still going. And I'm pretty sure, because I never really saw it either, but I think once Angel got spun off into his own show, Spike kind of became the, like, main dude. So you, like, fucking what? You fucking... Also, what about Trip says Spike?
What about Trip says Trip?
Well, that's actually just a thing Southerners do often. The third... No, I'm not kidding.
Oh, because he's the third. I've never thought of that.
It's actually a legit...
Oh, I get it.
There are many Trips in this world. It's because they are the third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's like a real... That is actually rooted in like a real... Kind of like how Bones comes from Sawbones. Like, it actually
Not
comes...
Not according to 2009 Star Trek.
Yeah, well...
Fucking tape.
So yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think it's a cool nickname.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't... I will say, yeah, no. You don't look at Trip and go, that's a Charlie.
And I'm gonna say, just out of the gate, just based on this one episode, I really do think that
Connor Trenier is pulling this show.
Yeah, he's carrying the show on his back. You know, and again, I'm not trying to disparage Bakula because he does a okay job, but like
again, they start writing more for him, I think, eventually.
Yeah, but like at this point, Trip's the only interesting character as far as I'm concerned.
You start off with.
That's a low bar.
The thing you learn is, wow, T'Pol is a bitch, and that's all this episode is just. Bitch, bitch, bitch. Why is she the one that usurps command when Archer's out somewhere doing a thing?
Because Rick Berman hates women.
Maybe, but it's also like she's not Starfleet, so why?
But she's technically
sub-commander.
But this is a Starfleet ship.
She really likes sandwiches.
Kira used to take command of the Defiant all the time. You didn't have a problem with that.
Well, they had a deal worked out specifically though. This was supposed to be like an ad hoc.
Yeah.
Thing. She's there to watch.
Yeah.
And,
this would,
judge,
speaking of the
mostly
Defiant,
judge.
this would be like if the Romulan lady that came with them on the first mission to monitor the cloaking device
actually stuck around.
Yeah,
like she was supposed to,
and then took command from time to time.
Yeah.
Why is there a Romulan commanding the Starfleet? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Trip Pretty great.
Yeah, Trip's good. Let's see, who else was... I thought Hoshi has potential to be interesting, but they just didn't give her much in this episode other than to, like, be the woman in distress.
Like, the thing is, the problem is giving this to a woman is that the idea that, like, this is early Starfleet, where they don't quite know what they're going to find.
Yeah.
So the idea that there's someone who's really just there for the love of science.
Yeah.
And is like, oh, fuck, people are shooting at me?
Yeah, when they first play her some Klingon, and you can see her get, like, a little lady boner
Yeah.
about it. It's like, ooh,
Like,
science. I love that.
yeah.
Fuck teaching
So-
in the wilderness.
So it makes sense that, like, yeah, you have this character who's kind of like, I was just here for books. What the fuck? You do have the unfortunate side effect of, like, you gave that to a woman, so it seems less like it's because she's just a scientist and more like, oh, ladies are timid, which I think, again, wasn't their intent, but that's what it comes
That's
across
what it seems
as.
like. Yeah, and it seems like she needs to be rescued by Archer. And then just, like, kind of undercutting her at points. Like, there's the scene when she's first trying to translate the Klingon.
Mm.
Yeah, a language she just learned yesterday.
And, like,
Yeah.
they're kind of shitting on her.
Barely.
Like, Archer's like, oh, you better get that universal translator fixed.
Yeah, and then Phlox is like, his brain isn't working, asshole. But
Yeah.
nicely, because he's Phlox.
I like Phlox.
You know,
Except for that fucking smiley
The
thing.
smiley
he
bit.
Yeah,
did.
the smile is weird.
They
yeah.
don't do that too much. They realize
They
very
do
quickly.
it more than this time.
They do, but they...
It was kind of like how the women did the tongue thing. He has to do the smile thing to be like, oh, okay.
he's an alien.
Neat.
Well, anyway,
Yeah, he's-
I like him. He seems nice.
Yeah, he's alright.
I also like the idea of like, he's simultaneously, you know, our crazy, you know, like, advanced space doctor, but also he brings a menagerie with him because he's also into weird holistic medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like-
he used this leech thing
Yeah.
on Archer for a while.
Yeah, which is funny because they've started using leeches in some cases again.
I'm just, you know, maybe it's because I don't know if I object to the casting. So it's John Billingsley's the actor.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't love him in the role, and I think part of it too is
Were you hoping for Ethan Phillips?
I was hoping for Ethan Phillips.
Well, I think that I will say the one thing is it does feel like, now having rewatched Voyager, like, it does feel a little like self-consciously trying to capture the thing they hit upon when they got rid of jealous aspect, and
when
Neelix
they got
was just
Neelix
good.
right, yeah.
Like, it feels like trying to do that from the off, and I feel like that sort of limits what he's able to do.
Yeah.
I think they eventually let him have a bit more.
Well, I also just think that there's so far. I mean, we're only one episode in. But
Yeah.
So far, there is no fun character, I guess, for lack of a better
Mayweather
term.
was on the ceiling.
I was gonna say,
fun.
that's Trip.
Well, exactly. That's
He's,
the thing. Like,
he's
Trip,
Florida man.
Trip is carrying the fucking
Yeah.
show on his back. Like, he's the funny guy. He's got the jokes too.
He's got the southern drawl. He's McCoy, but an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
write-
it works.
they write-
With a fucking six-pack.
The fucking writers
McCoy
of
might
this
have
show
six-pack.
must fucking love Connor Trinneer because they give him all the interesting shit to do and all of the jokes. Like, nobody else.
And a decon
So,
scene.
and a decon. Yeah, exactly. And he gets to touch the Huddy. So, like,
God
man,
damn
they
it.
fucking love this actor.
When the hell does he touch Anson Mount?
Yeah, so
On his podcast.
So, like,
the
I think, I don't know,
Shuttle Pod Show.
maybe my expectation was, you know, going in was that Phlox would kind of be, like, a little maybe goofier, but he's super serious. And
Yeah, that's true.
Look, he's always smiling.
yeah,
He's a big smiley fella. He
yeah.
likes Chinese
Yeah.
food.
But, like, yeah, oh God. Yeah, but it's not like he's smiling, but he's not entertaining. He just seems very
Yeah, I enjoy him.
by the book.
He's got his weird little menagerie and got his funny George Costanza hair. So that's Phlox.
Oh, getting back to Hoshi, I had
Yes,
a note.
Hoshi.
I had a note I wanted to say about Hoshi now that I find it on my notes under this cat. She decodes most of the Klingon and all this, or the Klingon or the Suliban. She decodes some language.
All
for a
sorts
while.
of stuff. She's good.
Yeah, she's good at this, and she's like, there's only a couple words that I don't know
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're probably proper nouns. One of them is Rigel, and I'm like, Hoshi, Rigel is also a word in English.
I literally said the same thing. I was like,
Son
who
of
the fuck?
bitch.
I was like, how don't they know about Rigel?
They
what the
couldn't have
fuck?
picked an alien word.
Seriously.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they could have even had
Thank you,
a
Kat.
different word, and T'Pol knows it, and then she's like, you humans refer to it as Rigel. Like,
Yes,
you
that
know,
would
That-
work.
yeah.
That'd be
That
fine.
is definitely like, who wrote that line?
Dumb, bad line.
Yeah, not
Bad
not good.
choice.
Yep.
It is a blue supergiant in
Orion.
Orion.
Yeah. It
It's,
has the Bayer designation Beta Orionis.
And it's diagonally from Betelgeuse, which is a red giant, which is also in Orion.
And Ford Prefect is from near there.
And
2 of these facts were real.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice?
Fuck. I was really hoping Michael Keaton would appear.
Ah, damn it.
Oh, man.
Mayweather. Poor Mayweather. Poor Mayweather.
Poor
'cause
Mayweather.
This is the most his character gets to do.
Yeah, he gets
Basically,
like one other episode.
He gets a focus episode, but honestly, the poor bastard, my main takeaway from the show is they barely use him. The poor fuck.
They really
Like,
do.
When they go down with Trip to the Helix thing, the Suliban structure or whatever it is, and they have to teach Trip how to fly the Suliban cell thing. Was that
Yeah.
what they were doing? And Mayweather knows how.
Yeah.
Mayweather
Which
is a pilot.
Also a mystery how he knew how. Like, they cut over that entire scene where
Well,
he figures out
just
how
like-
to
I
fly.
assumed he was some kind of child prodigy or
Yeah,
something.
I think that's just
Yeah.
he's a space baby. He's just grown up around so many different.
Yeah.
He just inherently knows. Just like Hoshi's super good with languages. You show this man any panel within 10 minutes. Beep bop boop warp factor
We
fun.
did it. Loop-de-loop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Loop
Well, that's the
fun.
thing. Like, there's a lot of potential
Let him fly it. God fucking
for that
damn it.
character. Yeah, no shit.
Why-
Trip already did 9,000 things this episode.
Rub so much decon
I was going
gel.
to say, including
You
having
don't
half a
need-
boner and a decon chamber.
Star Trek Trip. They should have just been on it.
Yeah, you
Star Trip.
You don't need another fucking Trip scene. Let Mayweather do the thing
Yeah.
that he's here to
Like,
fucking do.
They literally say, "Oh, you're needed on the you can't leave the Enterprise. You have to be the one piloting." I'm like, is there no one else that can
Not only
pilot
that-
this thing?
You have to pilot the Enterprise. Oh, by the way, don't move the ship.
Yeah.
Because I won't know how to find it again.
Yeah.
So, you didn't
anyone
need a
can
fucking
do
pilot.
that. Angry.
Very strange. Very strange. Yeah, but no, this is like, unfortunately, just the most. Like, the fact that they got him back for, like, Star Trek Day at one point.
Oh.
Like, was that a sorry we barely used you in Enterprise? Please come say hello? Like, Jesus.
Like, frankly, I feel really bad for the actor.
Yeah. Anthony Montgomery?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you if he's a good actor or not because we don't see enough acting because they don't give him enough to do. And like, there's a lot of potential, not just in the fact that okay, we have this pilot character. What's funny is that like Trip, like Tom Paris was the Trip of Voyager, really, and like he was the pilot. So
True.
Yeah.
like really, yeah. Anyway,
And just the whole idea that, like, he grew up on.
spaceships.
And, like, really slow ones, relatively speaking.
Yeah, like there's cool shit there.
He's not from Earth. He's probably one of the first humans not from Earth.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and you could like mine that, and like there's a lot of potential story there. And I, like you said, I think they have one
There's, like,
Focus
a focus
episode.
episode.
In 4 fucking seasons of Enterprise.
Yeah,
Well, it's more than most characters in TOS got.
That's true.
yeah.
It's as much as they did with Troy in 7 of TNG.
Mhm.
They gave her that Romulan face one, and we were like, why didn't you do this all the
For
time?
lots of focus episodes, it was
That's
just usually
true.
about sexual assault.
That's
That's
true.
true. Don't worry, we got to Paul now for
Yeah.
that.
Oh
Ugh.
God.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
cringing in advance.
Me too. Who else we got? Reed. Malcolm Reed.
Reed's alright.
Yeah, they
Maybe
didn't...
it's because I also
Read alert.
normally I'd be like, ugh, the accent's gonna drive me nuts because it also like it's his natural accent. They debated using a different one and they're like,
Oh,
why
no.
why is that Scottish? He's like, it's not Scottish, it's Northern England, and they're like, that's Scottish to us. Whatever, Dominic, just do you.
We've only heard London accents.
Oi, governor.
I mean, legitimately, the BBC like basically made everyone use London accents through like the 90s. Like really late, they fought against regional accents. The BBC is racist as fuck. Yeah, I feel like he barely does anything in this. I feel like he gets a little more fun. In part though, because they realize him and Connor Trenier have good chemistry, so they pair him up. So again, it comes back to Trip. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think this is the Trip show.
Trip has chemistry with fucking everybody.
That's true. But yeah, I feel like I remember being.
Am I going to
Fun
come
enough.
around on Trip? Because so far I'm not impressed. You guys all sound really impressed, but I'm not.
I think so.
I think you'll come. I think
He's fun.
I'm curious what your character journey for this show is going to be after your character journey during Voyager.
By the end of it, I actually hate Phlox.
By the end of it, you
come to my side and hate Phlox. Yes.
You come around and just hate all of it. Every last minute.
That's
Except
not coming
Porthos.
around.
No one can hate
I'm already
Porthos.
there.
Yeah, true. We all love Porthos. Porthos is great.
Yeah.
Porthos is
a
great.
good boy.
Boy.
I also
Porthos.
laugh because so originally Hoshi Sato was supposed to be an older character, and then they're like, oh, but Linda Park, and they're like, yeah, do her, it's fine. She doesn't have to be an older character. We've got her. But then they were also planning originally to have, instead of T'Pol, T'Pau.
The old lady from Muck Time.
Yes.
Huh.
Who we see in TOS, so we can have that connection to TOS.
Oh, yeah,
and
because
then-
she'd be younger.
and the nerds can have boners. But then they were like, yeah, but this one's got the sex appeal though. So
I mean,
They still could have called her
Yeah,
T'Pau.
it's not like
you think
she-
T'Pau would be a young hot thing?
why not?
100 years in the future?
1,000 years old.
You ever seen, like, you look at some old people now, you look at their old photos, you're like, holy shit, I would have fucked my grandma.
Chris, Jesus.
I would not have.
Christ.
No, at all. But I'm just saying.
Tell
Betty
me
White
more
was a
about this.
looker.
That's true.
Betty White was hot, yeah.
Who else? It was a good example. Actually, not a good example, but an example. Me and a coworker were looking up Christopher Lloyd today, and he has always looked like that. Like,
Okay,
on
yeah,
his
I was gonna
Wikipedia
say.
page, like, he's got a lot of hair and is black as hell.
You want?
But it's same exact face, just smooth.
You want to hear something crazy? So I've been watching some Sopranos lately.
Mm.
I'm a big fan of Sopranos. I've watched it a number of times. Today was the first, or this recent watch was the first time I realized that during the first season of Sopranos, James Gandolfini was 37.
Oh my god.
That's how old I am.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's...
and he looks like 50.
I mean, I don't know if we ever said this on air, but I feel like once we were talking about how young the cast of Seinfeld is in the first season of Seinfeld,
Mhm.
like, George was, I think, 30 or 32. He was not that old.
Yeah, so
Well, okay, so here's actually a pretty good example. Helen Mirren,
Okay.
right? Who is herself in an old lady way. She's an attractive older woman. But in her younger days, she was like, you got her because you wanted someone who was fucking sexy. In, like, a way you would not associate with stately older beauty.
well, like, what about
Oh my god.
Just Google Christopher Lloyd and see how he looks exactly the same.
No, we're looking.
No, I'm looking at Helen Mirren and her titties. My god.
the woman from Game of Thrones, the old lady that everyone loved?
Oh yeah, she was in a Bond movie.
Tyrell?
Oh yeah, Olena Tyrell.
Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name.
Me neither. I'm bad
But
at
she was
this.
also on like the Mod Squad or something like that.
That sounds right.
Maybe.
But yeah, she was a sex symbol.
Yeah.
And then now she's dead, I think. But
Oh, I didn't know that.
I thought I heard that.
Oh,
Maybe
she-
not. If not, I apologize. But I thought I heard she died.
Yeah, it could totally happen.
Julie Andrews is she alive still?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's always been attractive.
Yes.
She's still attractive.
See,
Yes.
she's just always and forever Mary Poppins to me, and that exists in a different part of my brain, so I cannot say either way.
Florence Henderson, who I think is dead now.
Oh, the mother from the Brady Bunch?
Yeah. Legitimately, I think Florence Henderson is probably one of the most beautiful people who's ever lived.
Fair.
So, yeah, good on her. What the fuck were we talking about?
T'Pau
Old ladies?
T'Pau could have been, Jolene Blalock. Fine, why not? Yeah, T'Pol. Wow, I just said that weird. Jolene Blalock.
Because every so often I'm like, Paul? Who's Paul? Oh, right, T'Pol.
T'Pol. Yeah, they eventually fix her eyebrows, because I noticed they barely gave her eyebrows in this one.
No, she had like long hair in like an original cut too, and it was weird.
And
Not
they-
even long. It was like a shoulder like Bob, and I was like, "What is
But
this?"
she basically just has human eyebrows. They even curve down at the end. You're just
Oh
like,
boy.
excuse me, I'm not usually one to complain about character designs, but that is literally the opposite of Vulcan eyebrows.
And they spent so much fucking time and money on this pilot, like literally, because they're used to a show might take a week to film.
Yeah.
This was weeks, if not months, and
Wow, that's embarrassing.
and millions of dollars.
It does not look any more expensive than most episodes of Voyager.
Yeah, they used 43 different sets. Apparently, it was hugely expensive. I think
Well, yeah, they
the
have
number
the-
I
How
have
were
right
there
down.
43? There weren't that many scenes.
They have to build the whole ship.
Yeah.
True.
But they can amortize that over
Yeah,
the course
yeah.
of the series. But then they are building there's a bunch of other locations. So we have like
The cornfield.
the cornfield, we have the
Brazil.
the sick bay on Earth, we have Brazil, the classroom, we have the alien planet that was just like they shot in like a fucking water treatment plant or something. There's the roof shootout scene. There's the Suliban hive ship or hive base or whatever the fuck it is, which is actually really cool, by the way. I think that's
that's really
Oh, and it's
neat.
made up all the cells. Yeah, that is
Like, for all that I don't like the temporal Cold War, that is a cool idea. That
Also, but can we just talk about how stupid the Reed's like, sir, you activate this and you have 5 seconds before the fucking thing explodes.
Reed is good at his job.
I must have slept through this because I don't remember this at all.
Mr. Reed, can we possibly give it a slightly
Nope.
longer? No! 5 seconds!
I'm British. My understanding of time comes from James Bond pictures.
These are metric seconds.
Yeah, I was
There'll be
gonna say,
plenty of
It's
time.
in the metric, you see.
Oh, it has nothing to do with anything, but I'm very tempted to just call this episode Metric Seconds.
Oh, wow.
That could explain how it's so busy and so slow. It's in metric seconds.
You did it.
Hooray!
Speaking of time, like I don't know a lot about what's going to happen with this temporal Cold War thing.
Nothing good.
I'm already braced for chaos. I thought the gun effect in that chamber thing was cool.
That chamber,
Oh,
the chamber was
the
cool.
bullet time?
I don't
Yeah.
really. I saw that.
Oh,
when,
like when he dodged the
It's
like
I'm about to
phaser
get
fire?
shot.
That was
I
cool.
should die.
I do like that the effect of the room backfired on
the Suliban.
F. Murray Abraham Suliban, who's not actually F. Murray Abraham. But yeah, that scene.
It's
I mean,
not
it was,
Abraham, it's Abrams, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. F. Murray.
I'm pretty
either
sure
way.
it's F. Murray Abrams.
Yeah, but like
You think of J.J. Abrams.
oh, maybe.
I don't think I am.
I think it's pretty sure it's F. Murray Abraham. I think Chris is right.
But yeah, the one thing is, I mean, it is cool, but also it does feel like we just saw the Matrix.
Yep,
So let's do it with lasers.
I liked it.
But yeah, I did like again temporal
Oh,
war.
it is. I apologize.
That's
It
all right.
is Abraham. My
Temporal
God.
Cold War, dumb. Temporally broken room, cool.
Yeah.
And the way they kind of they don't say right away what's going on. You see things are blurry.
The hand that kind of follows itself.
Yeah, and later on, the woman mentions temporal Cold War, and they're in the room, and we're like, oh, this is a weird temporal room, I see.
Yeah. Well, also, I will say, though, as cool as the room itself was and the effect in there, the little airlock, time lock, whatever, the thing they have to go through to get there.
Oh, with the strobes.
We're just like, ooh, spooky Halloween!
Time for a rave! It is very 2001 in that regard.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, come on,
I hope,
guys.
oh my god, if I had any skill with video editing, I would totally edit the fight and add glow sticks in their hands.
Yay.
Yeah, my god, that is one thing. It is so, like, an early 2000s show. The Frosted fucking Tips event. I don't know if they were in this one, but at some point, Bakula and Trinier have bought Frosted Tips, and you're just like, oh no.
Well, that's how it was at the turn of the century.
There's gonna be an episode where one of the guest stars has that haircut that everybody had for exactly 10 minutes in the early 2000s.
The Rachel?
No, that one that they also had in X-Men 2, that, like, both Jean Grey and Storm had.
Oh, yeah.
It was a really short-lived haircut,
I
so
love
you can
that haircut, though,
you can
you know?
always tell the exact couple of months when something was filmed, because that was a really brief fad.
It's too bad. I think
You'll have to
it was a good
point
look.
it out when it happens. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's bad.
You know what else is a crying fucking shame? So we get Clang.
Clang.
And we cast Clang with Tommy Tiny Lister, who was a WWE fighter. He was Zeus. And he barely did any fighting.
No.
Yeah.
And what a waste.
It's funny, because I
was looking for, I was like, oh man, that's him. He's hugely tall. He's gonna do some Klingon shit. I think he strangled, he like headlocked one guy and that was it.
Yeah.
And I was pissed.
I was surprised, because I could have sworn we either had seen him before or would see him again, but this is his one Star Trek appearance. He's also President of Earth in Fifth Element.
Oh, nice. Does he do more wrestling then?
No, he mostly sits behind a desk and looks annoyed at Bruce Willis's shenanigans.
Yeah.
Did we watch that movie for this?
Not yet.
Not for this
it's we definitely will someday.
We
We bring it up
absolutely
constantly.
really
It's
should.
such a good movie. Have we talked about the whole crew? Do we leave it out?
That's everybody.
Yeah, we
Cool.
can I mean, there's some side characters that are worth mentioning. Admiral Forrest,
Yep, we'll see him a fair bit, won't we?
who we'll see. That's Von Armstrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our
this is-
Romulan buddy.
We
This
have
is
seen him
our
a bit.
first time we've seen him as a human.
As a human being,
Which
yeah.
is fun. Yeah, we meet him, so it's Admiral Forrest, and then the other guys who are with him in that first scene are Admiral Leonard and Commander Williams, because they were all named after DeForest Kelly, Leonard Nimoy, and William Shatner.
I do like that
Which
Williams
is-
is the lowest ranked one.
That's pretty
I feel like that had to have been on purpose. Like, let's not make Shatner an admiral.
So little nod there. It's like, okay. I didn't even catch the other two's names.
Neither did I, which is why I had no idea until I was reading the thing. I wasn't supposed to read but had to read
Oh,
earlier.
that's what you read.
Mm-hmm. I do like to the Admiral uniforms have like the necktie, because again, that's just this weird bridge thing. You don't see neckties in Star Trek, so it's like, oh yeah, okay, it is the past, but also the future.
Yeah. Who else we got? We got Soval. Do we see Soval in this?
Is that
We did.
the ambassador?
The
Yeah.
Vulcan
Oh yeah, we'll
ambassador.
see a good amount of him.
Yeah, I can't remember.
He's a little
who
bitch.
He's
He
a
is.
bitch.
He's great at it too. Like, you love being annoyed by him throughout this show.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so much being annoyed by this guy. God, Vulcans are already the worst.
Oh, they're the worst in this. I feel like a huge point of this series is just, this is why the Vulcans aren't in charge of the Federation. They're jerks.
You know what? I also like another layer in this episode that was. It felt a little like an add-on at the end or something. It felt a little unfocused. Was we keep seeing these like 3 different or 4 different flashbacks to young Johnny with his dad Henry Archer. You know, just flying a toy plane or something. And the idea is Henry Archer never got to see the particularly fast ship do a fast ship thing because the Vulcans never helped us out. And how sad is that? It's like, there's already so much going on in this episode.
Yeah.
Also, the dude playing Archer's dad looked a little too much like the farmer, because Caitlin thought that
no.
was Archer's dad at first.
Oh, that's it. Yep.
And I realized, like, oh yeah, no, that he does look a lot like him. Like, had I not already known the episode, I might have also been like, wait, wasn't this guy on a beach 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Temporal Cold War.
So I think something I was thinking about, and maybe this might come up again in the future, but Zephram Cochrane.
Yay!
Before,
good to see
before
him.
I get to my point, let me talk about that. Yeah.
Yay.
So every previous series, we always had like a crossover character.
Oh yeah, like the handoff.
The
scene.
handoff.
Yeah.
You know, we had DeForest Kelly and Farpoint. We had Picard and
Emissary. The
Emissary.
Emissary.
And
Or was it just Emissary?
no,
Fuck
it's
me.
just Emissary.
You're right. Thank you. God damn
And we
titles.
have Quark, of course, in Caretaker. But it doesn't make any sense to have a crossover character. Like, there will never be a crossover on Enterprise with one of the other shows. It would be a monumentally stupid and senseless idea to do a crossover on a prequel show with a show from the future. So it'll never happen. So how do we get around that?
They decided, we need somebody.
Yeah, so
and
they get James Cromwell to come and do a little video thing. Obviously,
barely. He's just on a video. I wanted more.
Well,
He's
he'd
dead.
be like 150 years old at
No,
least.
sorry, he's not dead. He has vanished at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah, he
you're
is not
right.
dead.
Yeah, no, he's off living with a cloud or a... Was it a cloud
That's
or a
like
light?
constantly sucking him off
it was
or
a light.
whatever.
It was a light cloud.
It's a blowjob light.
Yeah, he's off getting blow gibbered by a
But
light.
I need more James Cromwell.
It kind they probably couldn't have afforded her at this point, but maybe you could have had like old Lily there to introduce the video.
But anyway, I was thinking about this. So in the future of Star Trek, we know that like Zephram Cochrane's birthday is like a national holiday in the Federation, and he's like a fucking hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: every other species already has warp drives. So why do we give so much of a shit about, like, especially in the Federation? Like, yeah, I know the
Well,
Federation.
it's not Federation yet.
Wait, no, I'm talking about in the future, though.
Oh.
Like, why in like the future of Star Trek is Zephram Cochrane a big deal?
Well, it's one of those things. It's kind of like, they've merged all the calendars. So yeah, you get Zephram Cochrane's birthday off. You get Surrock's birthday off.
Well,
You
yeah,
get...
well, sure, but like you get this, like if the Federation has 500
Fran.
members, and we know that having warp capable space travel is like a prerequisite to first contact in a lot of scenarios, then all of them must have their own Zephram Cochrane character.
True.
They probably do.
So does that mean that every single day is some holiday on some
No
Federation
one has
planet?
been to school in centuries.
Well, what I was going to suggest is that Zephram Cochrane didn't just invent warp travel for humans. His warp engine design is unique in some way. In a way that the Vulcans don't have it, the Klingons don't have it, and it might not be the fastest engine. Like, obviously other ships go faster, but maybe it's either more efficient for like fuel or whatever, maybe it's safer. We know that the Romulans use that fucking
Black hole. Idiots.
So for all we know, maybe like that's the most common form of warp core.
A bad one.
A bad one, until Zephram Cochrane comes around and changes the game with his antimatter engine.
Maybe that's part of why the Vulcans are so annoyed,
Yeah.
He's like, ours are faster, but his is actually better in a lot of ways. Fuck!
And that's
Let's
and, like,
not help
and
them.
like maybe the reason they're not helping is because they legit don't
I want to see
quite
what comes
understand
of
the
this.
technology.
I love that idea. And that you know them. They would not admit that.
No.
At all. They'd be like, do you get it? It's like, it shouldn't work, but it does. Which actually is Starfleet in a nutshell.
What's also interesting too is like the Phoenix had nacelles, straight up nacelles like we
They
see on
popped
every show.
out.
The Enterprise 01, NX-01
Nacelles.
nacelles. So all the Starfleet ships that we see tend to have nacelles.
Mm.
I don't think we've seen them yet, but we've talked about them on the show before. Most Vulcan ships don't
No.
have nacelles.
Yeah,
use
they're
rings.
just round
They got the
things.
ring system. So maybe their warp technology relies on the power of rings.
Like
Maybe
Mario.
there's something about nacelles makes for a better...
No, that's
Did you say like
coins.
Mario?
I meant
It's
Sonic.
Sonic.
I meant Sonic. Damn it, I got it wrong.
Yeah,
That's
close enough.
okay.
You found it for me now.
And that's why when we see later ships from other species, everyone has gradually, because even the Klingons eventually have nacelles on their big, not on the birds of prey, but on their bigger ships.
Mm-hmm.
The Romulans have them. That's really what it is. Zephyr Cochrane came up with the nacelle, which is somehow better for a stable warp field.
There you go. So
I like this
that's
idea.
That's my new head.
I'm down with that. That actually,
changed the game, and that's why he's well regarded.
I like that concept. Yeah, like he's not the first man to invent the engine, but he made the better one.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
He's the Henry Ford with less anti-Semitism.
Well, no, he revolutionized
Manufacturing.
mass manufacturing. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's really been a... That's the thing, is really, until the last, decade or so, no one was really trying very hard to make the internal combustion engine more efficient. But now there's a bit of a rush, too, so every company is just like, do this.
Mm.
There's no, one guy who was like, people, fixed it.
Anywho.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. I don't know. I got nothing else. I mean,
Yeah, it's a rocky start, but I feel like, I remember there being plenty to like.
yeah. I like...
But this is not an impressive
Yeah.
first outing.
Yeah.
I mean,
The cage was better.
Yeah, if we were
Love
comparing
the cage.
just pilots today, which we're not doing, we'll do that for another pilot one day, this one would not be high on my list.
No.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, like real quick, I think Emissary is a very strong pilot. It does everything it needs to do.
Well, plus
It does
it
get
just...
long in the tooth with the fucking wormhole aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it also is a huge statement of intent when it has fucking Captain God show up. And Cisco goes, I don't find you impressive, you limey prick. And everyone goes, you're not allowed to not like him!
Yeah.
Who are we talking
It's like,
about?
I
Cisco.
don't know,
Cisco
really
not liking
Emissary.
Picard was
Oh,
genuinely
Picard.
shocking for people.
I was like, you didn't say that to Ducat. No one would say that to Ducat. Fuck you.
Also, I realized, yes, it's a bad idea to say Captain God.
'Cause there's
when
another-
Cisco is there and he is eventually literally Captain God.
And we also have Captain God show up in Encounter at Farpoint,
Yay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeesh.
which I would say is probably the second weakest after this one, maybe.
I still like Farpoint.
I mean, I
it
like
had
Farpoint, all right.
jellyfishes.
It's just kind of
What?
It's good.
What was
Too
Trelane's rank? What rank God was he?
much. Oh, I don't know.
Was he a Viscount? He gave himself a
Squire.
title. Squire.
The Squire.
There
Squire of
Gothos.
Gothos.
Which is like a very low rank.
That's true.
Because
It's weird.
the Squire's just like a guy that helps
I
a
bet
knight.
it's a cool
It's like
word
a-
he liked.
It's like a knight's,
Yeah.
a knight's caddy.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just... Nope. I'm just picturing
Oh,
him
God.
carrying a fucking golf bag, but it's full of
Full of
swords.
Your face is so red, Chris. Holy shit.
I mean, that's what it is, but I've never heard it put that way. That's too good. My punch here isn't actually that good. I think it's I think it was that good. But I'm also a soft touch.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm sure, there's lots to come.
Yeah. So much water polo.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first Star Trek premiere that I can remember watching it live. Like, I know I saw, the Voyager premiere live.
I very, very vaguely remember the early days of Voyager, but this is one I remember clearly.
Yeah, because we were
Older. We were
we were
what?
practically adults at this time.
2001, so I was... Wait, math. 16?
Yeah.
16 or 17, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Jesus, older than I thought.
So,
Yeah.
good.
Well, speaking of new Kirk, old Kirk.
Jesus, that's what you've gone
All right.
with.
Well, yeah, tell us
Well, we
what
don't
we're
have
doing.
to, but I could
Tell us
edit
what
this
we're
out.
doing,
but-
lady.
Yeah, so we're doing a new thing for Enterprise so that I don't have to come up with more blog activities because this is going to last us most of Enterprise.
Woo!
But it's also kind of exciting, and
It is.
I think this will be a lot of fun. So we were talking a little bit about, this show, it happens before TOS and all this shit. And let's pretend there was a segue. So the idea right now is we are going to spotlight individual main characters from all the series and just go character by character by character.
It's going to take for fucking ever.
It's going to take for fucking ever. But it's great because it means we'll have content for the blog. This is what we're all about. This is what I'm all about, at the very least. So we're going to start with Kirk, because that makes the most fucking sense.
Kirk.
So what we are doing is we are going to tell you guys our favorite moments from Kirk, and stuff we kind of don't like that Kirk did.
So
Bad
is it bad if 3 of my moments across both
Do they overlap? Are they in both?
No, they're
Are they from one
They're
episode?
all from one piece of media.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I came up with way too many, so I've got spares if you guys don't have. If there's an overlap, and also if there's.
So I self-imposed a rule. I don't know if anyone else did.
Okay, what was your rule?
Just Shatner.
Yeah, I think just Shatner.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I mean, we
not Pine, not the new guy.
We haven't seen the new guys yet.
I would say the movies are fine.
Yeah.
TAS is fine.
Yeah, and TIS is not fun.
No, it's
Generations. I'm sure.
Generations is definitely a thing.
Oh man, I'm really excited. Really exciting. God, I can't talk. I'm excited, Jake. Do you want to tell us any of yours?
Sure.
Just start us off.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the tops.
Hang on,
then.
I gotta move this cat. I love him, but he's in the way.
I chose for my top Kirk moments. And now, bearing in mind that it's been a long time now at this point since I've watched TOS, so
it has.
I had to draw on some memory of certain things. So that's why only one of these things is actually from an episode of TOS, and it's the first one, which is the outsmarting of Nomad.
Oh, that's
good. That is a good one.
I really liked, I think Kirk is at his best when he talks a robot into killing himself.
Oh, yeah.
And
Everyone
he does
loves
it
that.
so much.
Yeah, he does so much. But I think, I could just list 3 times he did that. But I wanted to pick the good one, or my favorite one anyway, and that's Nomad. Where he basically convinces Nomad that you are violating your very mission. You must exterminate. And then we flush him out the finny tube.
When did this cat get back? He just reappeared.
Keeps showing up. Are we just going through?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. My next top moment is going to be another, I guess, tricking incident, but this time against a person.
Ooh.
A very smart person. He outsmarted one of the smartest people.
When did he outsmart Doc?
He outsmarted Khan.
Yay! Which time?
The one I'm specifically thinking of is when he did. Really, this is kind of a Spock moment because Spock kind of came up with it. But the hours will seem like days.
Oh yeah.
Bit, but I'm going to give Kirk credit there because he was in on it, and they tricked Khan, and Khan thought all was well. And then my third moment is going to be also from Star Trek II, and that is the Spock eulogy.
Oh, that is a good
one.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
That's also a really good Shatner moment.
It's a great Shatner moment.
Which, those are, let's be honest, rare.
Yeah, the thing it shows that Shatner can act. There's times when he's just doing his thing, but when he needs to, I don't know if it's the director that
I'd say Nicholas Meyer knows how to. He worked it out. Do enough takes, Shatner gets bored and stops hamming it up.
And then starts acting.
He literally...
You just gotta tire him out like a kid.
And then takes an angry nap.
Yeah, he literally says that in the commentary on Wrath of Khan. You do enough takes, he stops being Shatner and acts.
Yeah. And I want, because Meyer did Star Trek 6 too, and that's another great Shatner performance.
And of course, 5, because he respected himself so much.
That's right.
Well, 5 has that level of kind of zany,
God, 5,
camaraderie kind of moments.
5. I really wanted to put a 5 moment on my bottom list, but I couldn't think of any.
So I gotta say that 5 is terrible, and there's some dumb moments, but there are parts of the camping scene that are very genuine feeling and heartfelt feeling and good. So I'm going to give that as a good Kirk moment overall.
The camping?
The camping in 5.
Oh, that's sweet.
Again, the marshmallow and the gag with the boots. No. But just sitting around the fire, that moment, excised from the rest of that fucking film, is actually quite good. It's kind of like how the start of The Hobbit is good, then just don't watch anymore. Just watch the camp scene and skip straight to 6.
You know, I actually think in retrospect, it's really the middle. The middle 80% of that movie is bad.
Star Trek 5?
Yeah, the beginning is okay.
Yeah.
And the end is okay.
And Lawrence Luckinbill, as I have said before and will say till I'm blue in the face, gives a way better performance than that movie deserves.
Yeah. And I don't know. I even think the showdown on Shakari is not too bad.
Could have been worse.
Could have been
They
a lot
could have
worse.
kept the crappy rock monsters.
Yes.
I still don't want to watch the movie in full ever again.
No, I mean, I'm sure I will, but I don't relish it.
Yeah. Oh, I personally love this. I think a lot of people probably don't. But for all that everyone loves Khan, which is fine, you can't beat. I have had enough of you. I love that. I've always said it deserves to be as memed as Khan. I don't know why it isn't.
Yeah.
Love
That's
that fucking
good.
moment.
That's good. It's the delivery that
It
fucking
really
sells
is.
it.
It's
too.
like punctuating it with the kicks.
Yeah, kicking a guy in his face into a fucking volcano
And saying that.
and saying that, like, how much better can you get?
You really can't. It's so good. Honorable mention, because this really isn't a Kirk thing per se, but you gotta love Fat Day shirt. That's such a good shirt. It's iconic. It
Great
shows
moment.
up in Strange New Worlds. It shows up in other fun ways that I won't get into. Love Fat Day shirt, but again, it's not really a Kirk moment, hence honorable mention.
I am shocked you're not saying what may end up being one of my honorable mentions.
Fair enough. We will see. Maybe I'm still narrowing it down. Like there's a lot of moments and it's hard. I'm gonna go with him having to eat crow in front of Decker in the motion picture.
And when?
When he basically has to admit Decker knows a lot more than he does.
Yeah, but he still ends up making Decker look like a bitch throughout the entire movie, to the point that Decker's like, I'm just gonna go live with this weird alien
I mean,
monster.
yeah, it is undercuttable, but in the moment, when he finally has to admit he's a fuck-up.
Yeah.
You are picking only things from the movies. It's interesting.
It's kind of like with Jake, it's just what I remember better. Plus, every time I think of something from the show, it's just something weird. Like, it's fun, but it's weird.
See, I was convinced you were going to say creating Fizbin.
Oh, yeah, Fizbin was great.
That is a kind of great moment that I
That is-
genuinely somehow forgot about.
Yeah,
It's
I
from your
actually thought of
favorite
that, too.
episode.
It is one of my favorite. I think my favorite technically. Didn't I say it was?
Oh, your favorite's Conscience of a King.
Yeah.
According to our past list.
Yes,
Stuff
that
like
is
Tumblr.
still. That's a great fucking episode.
That is a good episode.
But yeah, Piece of the Action's so fucking good.
Yeah, but I say it fits in, though, with the theme of Kirk outsmarting people and
True.
things.
True. Who's next?
Here's the best Kirk moment, because it is him taking charge and being a good guy. It comes in the episode Balance of Terror. Leave any bigotry in your quarters. There's no room for it on the bridge.
That's good.
Heckin' yes, Kirk. Sold on you, like captaining your men and
Yeah.
standing up for.
But I'll never.
what
but
is right.
Fucking Klingons are fucking animals, alright?
Klingons don't look like my best friend.
Oh, sad face. I'm also going to give him tons and tons of credit for protecting the Horda in Devil in the Dark.
that's
I
good.
thought that was another really good Kirky moment of when he and Spock realize what the Horda's up to, and they're like, "Oh no, miners are on this way with pitchforks because it's a rock, and that's what you can do."
Red a minor, 49er.
And very similarly, my final is going to go to a very similar thing of not getting something killed when he refuses to kill the Gorn in Arena. Another very good Kirk moment. Another, I think, very emblematic Kirk moment of being the guy who will do the right thing.
He does shoot it with a bazooka first.
Yeah, but that was, science.
I mean, look, as far as you could tell, it had a motorcycle engine inside it, so maybe it would be okay.
I also have it as another, honorable mention. What does God need with a starship?
Yes.
Excuse me. It's the excuse me that really makes it.
That's what I say. I think that end of that movie is pretty good.
Do you have any, Caitlin?
I
What are
get
your
that.
favorite Kirk moments?
Oh, boy.
Are there any?
So many to choose from.
Oh, wait. can she use when he spoken word rapped in Futurama? Fuck, we didn't consider Futurama!
Man, we should.
That's technically Shatner, though.
Listen, you don't spoken word speak for me. First of all.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Good joke.
Thank you.
Very funny. I like when Kirk is like sassing at Captain Koloff in Tribbles. Honorable mention to storage compartments.
Wait, he says sabotage.
Yeah, I know. I thought of saying that. Sabotage is good stuff. I mean, like you said, the end of Wrath of Khan is really beautiful and well acted. I don't have anything else.
That's
I have
fine.
two. I have two things.
That's fine. They're gonna make it on the list.
Excellent.
Yeek.
Okay, but he's also kind of a shit. So tell us
Alright,
how
shitty bits.
how Kirk's a shit, Jake.
Alright, so this one might just get half credit.
Okay.
Good.
Wink.
Wink. Uh-oh. Oh, it's a half a Kirk.
Any enemy within.
No.
Because just fuck no.
Rapey Kirk.
Because actually, no, it gets full credit because both Kirks suck. There's rapey, fucking violent asshole, rapist motherfucker Kirk. And then there's bitch ass, hide in my quarters, I can't do anything,
Yeah.
Kirk.
I was trying to remember. Remind me in the scene when Rand goes to everyone and says, "The captain sexually assaulted me." What is good Kirk's reaction again? Other than, "It wasn't me."
Yeah, probably. I don't remember. But either way, it's bad. And like, the fact that they come to the episode like, oh, this is your bad half and your good half. Like, no. If any half of you is a fucking rapist, then you're all bad. So, no. Just bad. Did the character dirty. So,
Yeah.
I don't really love that idea. Say the next bad one, and this is just a dumb Kirk being dumb moment. Not raising the shields when the Reliant was when even Savick was like, we should raise fucking shields.
No, it's the Reliant.
Yeah,
We like them.
we're all just one big happy fleet, as Khan would say.
And did.
So, yeah, I just think that was a bonehead move, and he was punished for it, and like, a lot of people died. Scotty's fucking nephew died as a result of like that shitty decision. So
That's so sad, that scene. And speaking of people like acting it well, like, I mean, I know Scotty will get his day, but man,
yeah,
that scene is fucking heartbreaking.
Doohan did a good job.
Yeah, again, could have overacted that and did not.
Yeah,
he was doing his best.
He was doing good.
The mustache helped.
Yeah, those are good mustache days. All right, and then my last bottom moment, my last moment, and Kirk's last moment. Getting crushed by a fucking bridge after having a fist fight with Malcolm McDowell. Fucking terrible. Worst way, most I know people are pissed off that, spoiler alert, there's the implication that Kirk might be alive in suspended animation at the Daystrom Museum or whatever. But honestly, if it undoes that fucking horrible death that they gave him in Generations, I'll take it.
No, this isn't comic books. People need to stay dead.
Yeah, that's fair. But still, it is a terrible death. And like, not, the character was worth so much more.
Yeah.
And like, I know that they're trying to play it as, oh, well, he died saving an entire planet. Not to mention, the whole crew of the Enterprise and everything. And yeah, I guess that's noble, but still. He got in a fist fight with an old man and died because of shoddy fucking construction.
Being fair, he was also an old man.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the old man fight in Up.
Yeah, but if it had been like, they could have still given him a noble sacrifice death.
Yeah.
That didn't involve falling off some unsound scaffolding. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Unsatisfying. What weren't you satisfied with, Chris?
Obsession.
Just all of it?
He's behaving like an asshole in that. I want my revenge. They killed my old captain. Doodly doodly doo. Meh, meh.
It smells like honeysuckle.
Almost gets more people killed because of it. Dumbass.
Does get more people killed because of it.
Well, I should have even more. Yes, he does still get more killed, but he could have gotten even more killed just with the kill. Kill. Agreeing to go along with that stupid plan from the Enterprise incident.
Just going over
Yeah,
in disguise.
it's a fun episode.
Oh, yeah.
But when they presented that to Kirk, he should have been like, fucking what? But he went along with it, so implicitly he thinks it's a good idea.
What's stupid is, there must be other Vulcans around. Like, they could have just gotten Spock and another actual Vulcan. Why did Kirk need to be in makeup for this mission?
Why didn't he be in Romulan face? Yeah, good question. Dishonorable mention, because again, this really isn't Kirk's fault. It's the writers fucking up. But forgetting he had a brother. Like, what the fuck?
Wait, when did they forget he had a brother?
In one of the movies, he says, I'm referring to Spock, he says he never had a brother.
Yeah, well.
But I have Spock. And it's just like, okay, fuck Sam then.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Sam's dead.
do you look at that trash mustache he had?
It looks good on new Sam.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like new Sam pulls it off somehow.
You know what is interesting? So, Sam Kirk's first name is George.
Yep.
But he goes by Sam.
But here's the thing. I remember Kirk saying at one point that only I call him Sam. Like, I feel like that came up.
Is that in Operation Annihilate?
It's either in that one or it's in an earlier episode where they're referring to Kirk's brother.
I think that's the only time they bring him up
Maybe
in
not.
ever.
I just seem to remember this. It sticks out. Because I feel like I called Sam George once, and you were all like, no, it's Sam. His father's George.
Yeah, I think that did happen.
But his name is George.
Yes.
Barely.
But Kirk calls him Sam, but now apparently everybody calls him Sam.
Maybe in the intervening years he started going by George again, and by the time of Operation Annihilate, only he calls him Sam.
Yeah, because he settled down. He had a kid that looks like the kid from the Christmas tree episode.
The Christmas tree episode?
And the children shall lead with the spirit that pops in and
The Spirit of Christmas?
yes.
Yeah.
Did you have any others? Because if that was your
No, that was
mention.
I feel like that one doesn't count because again, that
Okay.
was the writers fucking up. I'm gonna say I get what he was going for, but he put it poorly when he said, "I need my pain" in Star Trek V. He can still talk about it, not with Cybok, who's gonna brainwash you, but we don't need our pain. That is a very old idea. We need to deal with our pain and get through it in a healthy way, not the Cybok way.
Sure. I don't know. I like that moment from Kirk.
I think the idea there is less that like you're not gonna have like you're gonna not have trauma. I think what he's saying is my pain and my trauma
That's what shapes
have
us.
made me who I am.
Yeah.
I'm the man I am because of that. So I need to deal with it, but if you take it away from me, I'm just gonna be a fucking shell.
Yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
maybe it's just a matter of the scene could have been, I don't know,
Yeah.
the phrasing. We'll call that also but I'm gonna leave it at that.
I can lend you one of my spares if you want it.
Go for it!
Okay. The ones I'm actually going to go with. Oh boy, well, there's still one that might be a toss-up. We'll see. But the ones I'm actually going with. Banging the slave girl in bread and circuses is fucking gross.
Oh yeah, I
Kirk,
forgot about
no.
that. Ooh.
Bad.
Bad Kirk.
Don't
Bad.
like that. Be nice. In Star Trek 6, he's suddenly like super racist about Klingons. And it wasn't a good look.
It wasn't. I mean, I get why he was, but you're right, it's not a good look.
I didn't get why he was.
They killed his boy!
Meh.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he never seems to give a shit about David.
I mean, honestly,
between Star Trek 3 and that moment.
That's just a convenient
And
excuse
also,
for,
a
like...
specific Klingon killed David.
Yeah.
You can't take it out on all Klingons.
Yeah.
I mean, what it really comes down to is he just doesn't like Klingons, and he's using that as an excuse to try to pass himself off as a better person than he is.
The writers are using that as an excuse to make this Cold War better.
Well, but here's the
That
thing.
too.
But like, that's the point of the movie: is that Kirk is an old, cold warrior.
Yeah, and
who's racist and and that's just what it is. And
he's trying to come up with a reason beyond just Because racism is illogical.
I don't know. Considering this is the same man that says, leave your bigotry in your quarters.
Oh, absolutely. Exactly.
I think it would. It's not nice.
But that is his arc in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point, is that he overcomes this by the end.
And even then, like I said, I think to an extent that, and again, I'm not saying that it is a bad look. Do not misunderstand. You're right. This is a great example of a bad Kirk moment. But I think it's still compatible because, as I said, even like, I mean, I said it in a joking tone, but I mean it, like, at the end of the day, yeah, Romulans, hey now, they kind of look like this guy I like. Whereas Klingons look very different, so fuck that. Like, I think there is a certain amount of, because even, even with real world racists, it's like there's certain races they'll tolerate and others they hate more. So I think it just makes him more realistic that, like, because yeah, like, he's not universally racist, but there are some people he hates automatically.
Yeah, Klingons, the Irish.
He is Irish.
Is he?
Kirk.
Kirk?
Tends to be an Irish surname. Oh. It's like an anglicized form of something else. No, that's technically a different name.
Oh, is it?
But yeah, no, Kirk is probably Irish. I mean, he could be English, but...
The other one I'm going to give it to, which was just a bad idea, Kirk. Supplying the hill people with guns just because the Klingons were supplying the other side with guns.
Yes, bad idea.
Dumb Kirk.
That's a Jameson move right there.
Again, very much Cold War metaphor, but still a bad call.
Yeah.
And I'll give my dishonorable mention to whatever the fuck he thought his plan was in the Squire of Gothos when he stays down on planet to get himself killed, because there wasn't a second part of his plan.
No.
Yeah,
There
that's
just
true.
wasn't. He lucked out by literally divine intervention.
How often do they do that, Starfleet captains?
A lot. Cisco does it a ton.
Janeway at least once was going to like let herself stay in the void so the crew could get away that time.
Archer did it this week just because Reed couldn't set a timer.
Why often does divine intervention save them? But yes, okay, that's the other.
Oh yeah, no, I meant to just like, here's a bad idea. I'm going to stay behind and shrug. It'll work out.
I live with William Campbell now and his dreamy eyes.
That's really what he just wanted to live with William Campbell.
Don't blame him.
He's like, no, this is a noble sacrifice. We're not gonna be best friends.
How about Caitlin? Do you have thoughts?
Everything about him in Generations, because that film's terrible, and he's terrible in it. The time that he said that Spock's ears were because of a rice picking racist piece of shit.
Because he's a Chinaman?
Yeah.
God, Jesus.
And,
It wasn't quite that racist. He said Oriental, which in the 60s was okay.
My bad. I thought he said Chinaman, but
he did not, luckily. Even by the 60s, that was a
Oriental is still not
great. No, that has not aged
great.
well. No.
Well, I'll give you a joking one.
Yeah, I love
because
those. Those are the best kind.
I can't remember what my other real one was. Never going back to see what had grown from the seed they planted that day.
Actually, no, that's a legit
on
one.
The list.
He didn't like ever follow up. He didn't ask anyone else to. He fucked that up.
Yeah,
really
Khan has a legit beef.
Oh yeah, he does. Like I am, like Khan was a monster.
Oh,
but in this one case, stop the clock twice a day.
Yep.
Well, so here's the actual joke then. Continuing to let Scotty go be near all of those dancing girls.
Yes, that was stupid.
God damn it, Kirk!
Stop leaving Scotty alone with women.
The women.
I don't want to watch DOS. It's been ages.
Oh boy.
I mean, not in the whole, just good ones. Oh, well, that was exciting.
That's fun.
That was fun. I'm looking forward to doing more of this. I feel like the future ones will be a little easier because
people do less.
Also,
the side characters do a whole lot less. It's
a lot easier to separate the actors from the character. Mm. I found like, what was awful? No, that was just William Shatner.
Yeah.
What? Oh, this was nope. That was William Shatner again. So a little easier going forward, I think. Will it? Find out next week.
Yes, it'll actually be harder because next week we're doing Spock. So get ready for that.
Yes, and next. Oh shit! Are there cards?
Nope.
Fuck! What are next week's episodes?
I will show you.
Shit.
You're
Me?
doing outro? Okay.
Yeah, Rebecca and Chris outroing. They're the ones that are highlighted.
Thank you. So yes, come back next week for Mr. Spock, and more importantly,
Fight or Flight.
Oh God, do I need glasses? Fight? Is it or of?
Oh, it's Fight or Flight. But...
Okay. So tune in next week for Fight or Flight, and God damn it, Star Trek: Strange New World.
Dang it, Star Trek.
And as a bonus, does Chris need glasses? What's that cutaway joke in Family Guy where it's like,
Jafar needs glasses.
Jafar needs glasses.
Yeah.
Number 1, Number 2.
Number 2, I guess. Anyway, join us next week. This has been Chris.
Oh, maybe it is. Wait, hang on. Is it fight of a flight? That doesn't even make sense.
That would be dumb.
Now I'm lost. It's probably that I wrote this down wrong.
But what's your name?
Well, this is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
And here's Jake. Oh, I'm going to do that the end of every episode now.
It is fight or flight. That is correct.
There we go.
Jesus
Good night.
Christ.
He can just apologize to my vape.
This is because Pixar makes us all feel bad for inanimate objects.
Yes.